Welcome to AsappJobs Lab. We bring you all possible solution of interview question, including most efficient one. And today we will learn how to code to reverse every k nodes of linked list using a recursive method. And before we proceed further, if you have not seen our previous two videos, which is based on this question, first video we have explained how to code line by line using iterative method, and in second video we have discussed in details about the solution of this problem, and the link for those videos you can find in description below, or you can see the video link at the end of this video. Anyway, so now let's start our solution here. So what we have to do first is we have to create a sub problem of the problem, right? So this will be our input linked list. So our first sub problem would be we have to reverse the k nodes of the list. So if k is equal to 3, then objective would be first we will reverse 3 to 1. So this will be first sublist, and then we have to reverse 6, 5, 4. This will be our second sublist, and at the end we have to reverse 8 to 7, and this will be third sublist, right? Here 4 next is pointing to null, and here 1 next is also pointing to null. So for reversal we are going to use the iterative method, which we have explained in the previous video. So that's what I have told to watch that video first. And now let's get back to our code editor. So this is the code to solve this problem using iterative method, which we have discussed in last video. And in that process also we have used iterative method to reverse the sublist. So that's what now let's rewrite this piece of code. So what the first thing first we have to do, let's rename the method name. We are solving this problem through recursive process, so let's name it recursive method here. So what we have to achieve first, we have to reverse the sublist. So here we are taking care of boundary cases, so this is fine. And now let's see here the front and back we need, and start and end we don't need, so we will remove that part. Count we need, and count should be equal to 0, and this back pointer will be pointing to null. As of now we don't need this line of code, and definitely we don't need this outer while loop as well, so let's remove this while loop. So basically in this while loop the condition is fine. So this is the first step, pointing front pointer next to current element, then current next will point to back element, and then back will come to current element, and the current will go to the front element, and after that we will increase our count. And now as soon as we come out from while loop, and that time our front and current will point to null, and back will point to the first element of the reverse list, which will be the head pointer. So this is done. Let's remove this part as of now. And now let's see what's problem here. It is saying could not resolve. Yeah, sorry, the method name was incorrect. So let's execute this now. Okay, now you can see the output is 3 to 1, which is fine, just because k value is 3, so we have reversed our first 3 elements. And now let's go back to our whiteboard to see what next to be done. So we have achieved this sublist, and now time to reverse sublist number 2 and 3, right? So here also to reverse this sublist we will be using the same piece of code which we have used here to reverse the sublist 1. So whatever the function which is reversing this sublist, this function we will call it here, okay? And then once it will be done, then we'll call it here. So let's call that function recursively in the code. So we have to make recursive call once this piece of code will execute. So let's do that. And here we will be passing current in first parameter and value of k in second parameter. And why we are passing current pointer here, just because now the current pointer is pointing to the first element of the sublist, right? So now let's execute this, and now you can see in output we have third sublist, right? 8, 7 null. and because of we are using only one single head pointer, and that head pointer is pointing to first element of third sublist, and that's how we can see only third sublist printed over here. So let's demonstrate that we have actually reversed our all three sublists. So for that we have to declare two more head pointers, so let's do that. So this will be null initially. Let's name it head 3. And now we have to assign this head pointer to their respective sublist. So for that we need some kind of counter. So let's have this variable sublist count, which we need to increment after reversing the sublist. And now we can assign based on the condition. If we have reversed first sublist, then this will be our head pointer. We can use else if it is our second sublist, then head pointer will be head 2, and finally after reversing third sublist, head will be head 3. Okay, and one more little changes we have to do in our print list method. So here we are using head pointer inside our method declaration here. So instead of that, now we will pass our head here to this method. So let's do that. So this will be printing sublist 1, and this will print sublist 2 where we are passing head 2, and this will print our sublist 3 where head pointer is head 3. Accordingly we have to make changes here. So this will be struct node and print. We need to remove this line, and yes, we are done. Now we can see our all three sublist. Now we cannot see our sublist 2 and 3, so let's see what is the problem. So we are doing here perfectly fine. Sublist count, we are incrementing it. Okay, so this variable, it should be static, right? Just because we don't have to reset this variable again and again. After each and every recursive call, we have to memorize the value of this sublist, and because of that it should be a static. Okay, and now let's see. Okay, so now you can see the value over here. So sublist 1 is 3 to 1, sublist 2 is fine, sublist 3 is also fine. Okay, and now let's go ahead and see what next to be done. But before that, let's revert back our this piece of code. This we have used just to demonstrate to you all. So let's remove this. Okay, so we have reverted back, and now time to go to whiteboard. So till now we have successfully reversed our sublist, which is not connected to each other, right? So what the last thing we have to do, we have to merge them. So it is very simple. The last node of first sublist should be pointing to first node, which is a head point of second sublist. And similarly we need to do when we merge sublist 2 and 3. So the last node of sublist 2 is 4, so 4 next will be pointing to head node of sublist 3. With this logic I can say 2 points. Point number 1 is our recursive method should be returning head node of the list, and the second point is the head node which we are getting from recursive call, that will be next of last element of previous sublist. Let's refer, this is end element, so I can say end next should be equal to method call, right? Just because this method only will return head point. So ultimately at the end this expression will be converted nothing but end next equal to head of next sublist. And we have to observe one more point here is till now our head pointer of the program is pointing here, right? And we should not forget that at the end of the program our head should be pointing to element 3. So if we execute this expression, so definitely our head will point to 3 here. So let's make changes accordingly into our code. So first thing which we need to change is the return type of this method call, right? As of now, return type of this method is void type, by just because we are not returning back to our main method anything, right? And we are not storing anything over here basically. But now because we have to return the head pointer, and the head pointer structure type is struct node type. So first thing is we have to change this like this, and accordingly we have to make changes in our boundary case also. So let's see them one by one. So if you have current is equal to null, in that case we will return null from here. And if k is negative or 0, so in this case we have to return current, because of in this scenario whatever the input we will receive, the same input we have to return back, right? So initially our current will be pointing to head, so indirectly we are returning back head pointer to our main method. So in main method definitely we have to store the element which we are getting from this method call, so that will be assigning to head. And now at the end we have to return back here. We don't need this expression just because back is nothing but our head node, so this is fine. And one last changes we have to do, we have to make and next equal to this. So let's define this end pointer which will be initially equal to current. And why we are assigning current here to end? Just because end is nothing but our first element before reversal, right? And that's how we'll keep reference to that element. So guys, we are done here. Let's execute our code. And now you can see that we have reversed every k nodes of input list, which is our expected output. So that's it guys for today. I hope you like this video. Please let us know your feedback or which question you wanted to see in next video. That you can mention through comment section. And if you have not subscribed our channel yet, so please do that, and please hit the bell icon as well. Thanks again, and see you in next video.